Singaporeans have been debating whether the recent goods and services tax, GST hike has worsened inflation, but Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has come out strongly against these claims. In fact, he says inflation actually dropped after each GST hike. But is this really the full picture? Stay with us as we break down the facts, challenge assumptions, and reveal how this debate could impact your future. Welcome to 2230, where we bring you detailed, fact-driven news that matters. Before we dive in, do us a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe for more in-depth coverage, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's get into it. During the budget debate in Parliament on February 28, PM Wong dismissed accusations that the GST hike had turbocharged inflation. He pointed to global factors as the real cause of rising prices, things like supply chain disruptions, rising energy costs, and the economic impact of ongoing wars. But here's where it gets really interesting. According to the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the GST hike was expected to have only a temporary effect on inflation. And if we look at the numbers, inflation was 6.1% in 2022 before the hike. After the first 1% GST increase in January 2023, inflation actually fell to 4.8%. And after the second 1% hike in January 2024, it dropped further to just 2.4%. So, what happened? If the GST hike really worsened inflation, wouldn't these numbers be going up, not down? The opposition, however, isn't convinced. Leader of the Opposition Pritam Singh challenged the government's decision to push ahead with the GST hike, calling it poor fiscal marksmanship. He argued that imported inflation was already making life more expensive, and the GST increase simply fanned the flames further. Here's another key point. Pritam highlighted that Singapore's fiscal position is actually very strong, stronger than initially projected. In fact, the 2024 fiscal surplus was revised from 778 million Singapore dollars to a massive 6.4 billion Singapore dollars. Even previous deficits in 2021 and 2022 turned out to be surpluses. This raises a major question. If Singapore is doing so well financially, was the GST hike even necessary? Adding fuel to the debate, non-constituency MP Hazel Poa of the Progress Singapore Party suggested that instead of raising GST, the government could have reformed the corporate tax regime to generate revenue. PM Wong, however, stood firm. He explained that without the GST hike, Singapore would have ended 2023 in a fiscal deficit. Even with unexpected revenue from corporate tax collections, Singapore's projected balance for FY 2025 would still be negative without the GST increase. That means fewer resources for essential services, seniors, and long-term investments in the country's future. So, here's the big question for you. Do you think the GST hike was necessary to secure Singapore's long-term future, or do you believe the government could have used other revenue sources? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this coverage insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to 2230 for more fact-based news. Your support keeps us going, and we'd love to hear your take on this issue. See you in the next one.